Yeah. If I didn't, let me just say that then, and then I'll.
Hey,
I'll
here
leave
we
it to you
go.
because I really
Okay.
want help with that. Are we back on?
Well, yep, we've started streaming again, and I apologize. Gail just came in and said that we'd stop streaming, so since Renee and I don't know when that happened, sorry, uh, I'm gonna ask her to update.
Okay.
Tell us again, Renee, what people should do. I know you're pissed. I know you're upset because we're
Well,
discovering.
take a deep breath. What they need to do is get out the letters from the banks and servicers, attorneys, whoever they're getting them from, that tells them that the trusts own their mortgage.
Right, and this, and
you go
I
into
had
your PSA,
right.
do Control F, search for owner, search for trustee, search for owner as trustee, beneficial owners, and then at that point you will see there is no such thing as them owning anything.
And I had pointed out Renee's. I don't know when we stopped streaming. Apologize. And so I pulled up the corporation assignment of deed of trust, and the undersigned grants, assigns, and transfers to the Bank of New York Mellon, the trustee of the certificate holders. And so what Renee is saying is that this assignment has to be completely bogus, right? Because the trustee can't be the beneficiary.
The trustee, right, you have to assign it to the trust of which Bank of New York Mellon is trustee.
Right, not to the
Exactly.
trustee, but to the certificate holders. The owners of those are technically, if they actually had, they don't even have the loan. I mean, James is going to share with us. The fact of the matter is, it's so completely mucked up that nothing they put out on paper is
It's
true.
that backwards. You have to assign it to the owners, and they can't assign it to the owners because it's like extrapolating an orange out of a glass of orange juice. You can't do that.
Right, yeah, right.
That we know is wrong. So basically what I'm saying is we need people to gather those documents, gather the responses, make sure that you document when you talk to whoever you talk to at, like
Yep.
Bank of New York Mellon,
Yep.
exactly what they say to you. They're being
Yep.
given a script to say they're owner as trustee, and that
Right.
that doesn't even exist.
Right, exactly. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. And again, I want to pressure the everybody watching that as they play this distraction game of all these illegal made up assignments and documents and record them on the properties, they just still take the homes. Because most of the people in the country do not understand this, are not aware they have rights, or how they would ever access those rights, or how to make those rights take some effect and protection for them. So we're going to continue to try to
Because what
broaden
the-
the scope.
The problem is the judges dismiss all this and
Exactly.
rule in behalf of the banksters before discovery. There's no discovery done.
Exactly.
Who are getting to the discovery stage are going straight to restitution and everything's being sealed.
Exactly.
They get to actual discovery, the truth is there. These guys are attorneys, which I believe mostly these are the attorneys bringing these actions,
Right.
not even the servicers of the bank. But they're just walking in and literally lying and saying that the trust owns these.
And getting away with it. Thanks for updating us, Renee. We're going to have to move on, and we're going to keep in touch with you so that we can develop
Forget
solutions.
about the audit. I'm on fire to get people to get a conversation going about the auditors that we use.
Exactly.
Securitized auditors who are court, they go into court and represent us.
Yeah.
Be the ones helping with the audits,
Right.
reinvestigating this national mortgage settlement with
Right.
auditors we have in the states for the homeowners involved.
Exactly. That's an excellent thing. Let's bring that to Elizabeth Warren's attention, guys. Help us get connected with her. Thanks, Renee. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, James. Is this James?
This is James.
Thanks for waiting. Sorry, I think live stream blew up, so we started fresh. And this is James McGuire. He's likes to think of himself as the voice of the people, and I have a picture of Einstein up here because James is sort of our Einstein, I think. And a picture of his website, $1 Trillion FUBAR. And James was saying something to me yesterday that I wanted him to talk about fairly briefly, okay, James? Just, maybe about 10 minutes on on the lawsuits. I've got one here now showing on the screen, where it's in the Federal Debt Collector Protection Act, and it's can you pick up the pieces, because you can explain it better than I can?
Well,
What are we
it's not
talking
hard to do, but you sure make it tough following Philip and Renee.
Come on, we're pushing each other. Go ahead. So, what is the point of this lawsuit? And the ruling here is that the judge, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, rules that mortgage foreclosure is debt collection under the Act. So, explain to us what that means and how that can benefit the people.
Okay, if you look at when the people close on a house, they sign a note and a security instrument. Whether the security instrument's a mortgage or a deed of trust, it really doesn't matter. It's an alternate method to collect payment of the tangible obligation. It's just an alternate method to collect monies. Therefore, it's a debt collection, and it should fall under FDCPA.
And so, if it does, what does that do for the owner? How does that change things for the owner, if it does?
Well, I mean, if it's not the correct party trying to collect the debt, even by alternate methods using the security instrument, take it to federal court under an FDCPA violation. Get it out of the state courts, the junior judiciary that don't want to follow law.
So, okay, so what I heard you say is we would get more appropriate legal rulings in federal court than we could probably expect in state court. And when I say we, I mean owners.
Yeah, if you bring the absolute correct argument, which I haven't really seen very many correct arguments in over a decade. As a matter of fact, I really haven't seen one until lately.
Now, I was asking yesterday, are you guys working on drafting these correct argument lawsuits so that people can file them?
There are suits that are being drafted now, and I'm not in position or liberty to discuss what they are, that will bring the correct arguments to bear.
And then we can hope that with the correct arguments, the owners, the people, would get justice.
Well, once people are aware that the correct arguments are made, wait till the court's opinions come out and want to reach their own conclusions at that time.
Now, one of the things that we talked about was how would this opinion, the Glazer opinion, affect deficiency judgment?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, because if the alternate method to collect the debt is in place by the security instrument, and they're claiming the deficiency judgment on the value of the note. So if there is a sale of the house and it's a credit bid for what's outstanding on the note, there is no deficiency because the security instrument just covered the deficiency.
Oh, that's clever. So there is no deficiency.
There would be no deficiency.
And so what does that actually mean for the owner?
Well, there's probably, I know I've seen a few of them, and I'm sure there's quite a few out there that the banks have sent out a 1099-C and says, or with notice that, you've got debt forgiveness of this value, then turn around and sue for a deficiency judgment. Some states allow for deficiency judgments, others don't.
Right. And then, oh wow. So this brings up a lot of interesting questions. Now, you and Joe have been talking to me about live streaming another securitization episode, and I'm hoping that we can get that done in the next couple of weeks. You guys still up for that?
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to tell everybody that they sent some new overheads today. We don't have time to go into it today. I'd really like, as soon as you guys can get that scheduled, to get that on the calendar so that people can know it's coming and be able to adjust their schedule to see, to really listen, because it's a tough issue to clarify, and we can use all the help we can get. So if you and Joe will just keep me posted what day, then I will get that on the calendar, send out a blast so that everybody knows to get that scheduled. We'd really
We'll just
appreciate
have
that.
your people sit there and tell us when they want us, and at least I'll be there.
Okay. Okay. And you know, the other thing on this, on the next show, I would really appreciate people having their questions. Email the questions in either to Joe or James or myself, and I can have a list of questions so that you can get answers to those questions on the show. Because most of the questions, there's lots of people that have questions, and I'm sure that many of them are similar. So you guys up for that then?
Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate it, and bring into our attention, something that I'm not that familiar with about the court process and the lawsuits. I grasp the concept, no doubt about it, and that is if we file the right claims, then we're going to get the correct rulings. And this has been very tough for the people because the banks made it so. They have tried as much as possible to smoke screen and to confuse and lie. So as we work together as a group to get help for the people, and I mean the whole country, we really appreciate the research and effort that you've been doing, James. I think it's been at least 10 years you've been working on this, right?
Over 10 years.
Over 10. Well, we sure appreciate it, and I want to highly recommend go to his website, take a look at those documents. It's enough to blow you away. It'll keep you busy and up at night. Thanks, James, for sharing, and we look forward to the next show with you guys.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Hey, Suzanne. Suzanne, is this you?
Yes, it is.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. This is Suzanne O'Keefe from Occupy Fights Foreclosure in LA, and she does a whole bunch of things besides fighting foreclosures. So bring us up to date with what's going on down in your way.
Hi, CJ. Great to hear your voice again. I believe there's just always a lot of things that we're doing here. We are right now putting together a letter that's going to go to the Assistant Attorney General, Thomas Perez, at the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, because we have noticed and have lots of experience of people going to court and not being offered an interpreter, not having to bring their own interpreter or not having an interpreter there. And according to the law, that's a violation of their civil rights. They don't have an interpreter. So people, we're writing a letter right now to Mr. Perez to say that this violates all these people's civil rights. And La Opinion is very interested in doing a story on it, and possibly the LA Times as well. So
Yeah.
that's going on, and we're going to be sending it to, CCing it to other, entities as well, other institutions. So we think that's really a positive, point to make.
Absolutely. And La Opinion published an article a couple of weeks ago on the foreclosure crisis. They'd heard, I'm struggling right now to remember what it was about, but they contacted me, and they have lots of homeowners that want solutions. And this is a huge problem in the Latino community. And as we already know and point blank say, the banksters targeted certain groups of people. They targeted Latinos, they targeted blacks, they targeted the poor, and they targeted the seniors. The weakest among us, which is even one of the more despicable things, is if despicability can have levels. And any help that you can bring knowledge and information and support in any of these communities, we really highly appreciate that. Do you have any more news about Occupy Fights Foreclosures with the Recorder's Office or any of that kind of information from LA?
Yes. We have a meeting. We have a meeting set up for Dean Logan, the county recorder, again in February, mid-February. But we realized, in the subcommittee and discussions, that what we would really love to have before we go back to that meeting is all the attorney support that and lawmaker support that we can before we go back. Because Dean is saying that he doesn't have the authority to implement an affidavit yet.
Right.
Before the homeowner.
Right. And the affidavit that Suzanne's talking about is the affidavit of authority that John O'Brien, recorder in Massachusetts, it's a letter. He has a cover letter and then the affidavit, and he rejects a recording, sending that back to the foreclosure trustee with the letter and the affidavit that the trustee's attorney has to sign, saying, yes, I jeopardize my license, and I will tell you that everything that is on this filing is accurate and true. And of course, they never get those letters back. And this is the goal of the rest of us activists around the country, to try to get our recorders to step up that way. But definitely, it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. We thank you for your lead in that, Suzanne. And what date again was that going to be?
February 15th. But let me tell you a little bit of the nuance of what we're trying to do is that we were asking for a blanket affidavit that would be part of the requirements for recording any documents, that they would have this kind of affidavit. But
Right.
What we're realizing that the Homeowners Bill of Rights, we're arguing that the Homeowners Bill of Rights provides new authority because it has stricter requirements for filing documents. And so we're going to go and see if we can corral the opinion leaders, like the lawmakers and law professors that understand that this does give the county new authority to require an affidavit, and also if they don't, then let's make that law. So we need to it's the implementation of the Homeowners Bill of Rights at the county level that will prevent fraudulent documents from being recorded to begin with.
Exactly. And stop them right now. Stop them in their tracks, because that is one of the huge dilemmas we've already talked about today, and it's always everywhere that a lawsuit's being filed, but they're still just taking the houses. And how do you stop that headless monster, so to speak? And this would be one way to do that. Thanks so much for sharing, Suzanne. We appreciate it, and we look forward to getting another update soon from LA. And keep us posted. Any breaking news, anytime you're published, let us know, and then we can bring that on the air.
Okay, great. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now. Lorraine, is this you?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us today. Lorraine Sauder from Pennsylvania, a homeowner fighting the banks. So tell us what's going on in your life and in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Quickly. Yeah, you got 3 minutes. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I started this last year around April 30th of 2012. I started noticing something was strange with my mortgage when Bank of America was returning my mortgage payments to me, which they had never happened before, so I suspected something wasn't right, and that caused me to default on my mortgage.
So you were current, and you were sending in payments, and then they sent them back.
Right. I had always sent them bi-weekly instead of once a month, and I had done that for 2 years previously, and they never sent them back before. And then all of a sudden,
Right.
started sending me my bi-weekly payment back, stating that they have a new policy that they don't accept partial payment.
And so then that pushed you into default.
Right. And then they wanted me to talk to someone who could modify my loan.
Right. Because, of course, that's what they want to do. They want to, modify while they try to foreclose.
Exactly.
And so I'm assuming that they started to foreclose on you.
Well, since Pennsylvania is a judicial state,
Okay.
it didn't happen quite like that. What happened was I sent them a qualified written request letter. I did a little bit of research on this, and I
I figured out something wasn't right. And so the first thing I wanted to do was to make sure that they were the correct, lender, debtor. And so I asked for proof of debt, and they sent me a Xerox copy of my promissory note, which was signed by a robo-signer, Michelle Solander.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Googled her name and found out all this information that
Yep.
I didn't know about before. And
Yep.
I subsequently decided to sue them in court for fraud because they had filed a assignment of mortgage 2 years later than they
Right.
should have been.
Right.
In other words, the assignment of mortgage, if it was properly done, would have been done in August of 2007. Instead, they filed it October of 2011.
Right. Which they did, of course, across the board. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I also found out that there was notary fraud involved.
Right.
And
did you?
homeowners are not educated about any of this stuff. It's all way over their heads.
No, and that's why I'm working really hard to try to simplify the issues down to something that people can grasp and can do without having to hire an attorney, because attorneys in most places that are competent and will do the work are very hard to find, and or very expensive. And then it
And you're
often
doing a
doesn't
wonderful
work.
job, CJ.
Oh, so tell us what's
But
going.
I've looked at everything on your website, Homeowners for Justice, and I've listened to a lot of the live streams that you've recorded there, and I think they're excellent. And I just want to give you my applause on doing such a great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And the fact of the matter is, there's so many people, and every one of us that are involved in this and that are watching the live streams right now, we all care about others and we care about the country. If you will, we are radicals, we are rebels, we're rebelling against all the fraud we see everywhere. So tell me, in Pennsylvania, I'm sure there's millions of people that are facing this same dilemma that you were in and facing foreclosure by these banks.
Yes, yeah. The first thing that they should do is send a qualified written request letter, because that right there, you have certain legal rights by doing that.
That's right.
And you're protected under the FDCPA.
Right.
So
Which James just talked about, the Federal Debt Collections Practices Act. Yeah.
Correct. And so whatever they do after that, if you get it documented, it's evidence to use against them in court.
Especially in your judicial state.
Yes. That's one thing good about Pennsylvania. However, because it's a judicial state, that means that whoever tries to sue them in court, if you do it yourself as a pro se litigant, then you have to go. First thing you got to do is go to the Pennsylvania statutes and look them up to find out how they apply to your case. Because if you file a complaint and you don't put on there the actual statutes that they're violating, it'll get dismissed. Like that case in Louisiana where the county recorder, they filed a huge lawsuit, all these recorders of deeds offices.
Right.
They filed a lawsuit and it got dismissed because they failed to state the actual statutes that the state that they were in violation of.
So poorly written lawsuits or incorrect claims, like James was pointing out, you're going to get judgments that you don't like. They're not going to be for the homeowner. So we have to be smart about what we're doing.
Yes, and the first thing that I learned anyway, it's a learning process, is that you have to state a claim against them, and you have to state the actual statute and law that they're violating. Right. And it even helps to attach some kind of evidence showing that they're doing such.
Right.
And as long as you do that with your complaint, it'll be hard for them to have it dismissed.
That's excellent news. So anybody in judicial states, listen up. And I wanted to make another quick comment before we let Lorraine go, that article that Martin Andelman that I pulled up earlier in the show, it actually, the premise of these new laws, foreclosure laws in these various states, finally now California, but Oregon and Washington, Nevada, he pointed out specifically, have turned these non-judicial states into a judicial process because they're requiring things like the judicial state would, standing or like, and so now the qualified written request in a judicial state, which obviously Lorraine's brought to our attention makes big difference, should make much more difference in a state like California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, that where it used to not matter. So thank you, Lorraine, for bringing us up to date. We look forward to hearing from you soon about other actions going on in Pennsylvania. Anything and everything that's for the homeowners, please bring it to our attention.
I certainly will, and thank you for doing such great work.
Oh, thank you. Together, we might have a chance. That is the point. Thanks, Lorraine. Talk to you later.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Hi, this is CJ. Is this the Hut Master?
Yes, ma'am. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you doing? And thank you for joining the show just at a last minute. And I want to tell everybody that the Hut Master, James, has agreed to be on as a guest on a show next week or whenever we can get it scheduled. And he can share with us a lot more then. Can you just bring us up to date of who you are, what you do, and what the future looks like for homeowners?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, hey, good afternoon, all. Some know me as the Hut Master, and that's that raving lunatic out there that's just attacking the banks verbally because I see the actual hurt on a daily basis. I'm also a Chief Information Officer of a St. Petersburg, Florida law firm, and I've been a member of that firm since '84 in a more of a technical capacity. That evolved in late 2007 to 2008 into a research and building the systems that allow our office to do the very research that we've all so graciously come together on now in 2013. So we do offer workout options for folks. As much as we'd like to fight for everybody, there are certain occasions when like for instance, when two military folks stationed at MacDill Air Force Base are relocated, it's in their best interest to short sell the property. I'm also a trusted advisor to the Treasury and Fannie Mae with regard to the HAMP family of programs, and I'm not one to say that they're the best things on the planet or they make the most accounting sense, but in some occasions it at least will quiet the foreclosure and allow that family to get back at least somewhat of their life, and let some of these things unfold that our group are unfolding, and then go back and attack on their behalf later.
Right.
So with that said, I'm more of a compliance person and technology person in the law firm, and then I also spend my spare time not walking on the beach and enjoying movies and popcorn, but doing research and doing these forums and gathering some room out there, meeting folks like CJ, Renee, and so forth. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thanks, Jim. We just are so thankful that people of all kinds and all skills and abilities and efforts are really joining the fight, because it's a fight, and I agree that not everybody can have the same solution, and that makes it even more complicated, because if it was one size fits all, which I keep pushing for, and which we could get if we got enough political clout, but without that, everybody's still pretty much on their own and has to take their own situation. Did they lose income? Are they moving? Just like Jim brought up. So what are you involved in? Any actions of real good interest to the people right now?
Well, one story, I'm about to go after Green Tree this afternoon because they are putting the brakes on a short sale that Indy has approved, and it's in the best interest of the homeowner. Yeah. But on a bigger note, my girlfriend Pam Bondi is in Tampa today doing a press conference pretty much as we speak on the House bill that our illustrious senator down in Sarasota area is trying to push through. So we're all waiting for news from that, trying to get some video that I can pipe through and share with you all. Also, I run my own servers, mostly in the United States, and I have a couple overseas just in case. But I have the facility for folks to share this information as video servers are robust enough to host some of this. So I'll be posting links out there either on thehutmaster.org or Hut Radio of today's news, and I'll get with Renee and CJ and your people, CJ, there in your office, and get these links out. We'll get them posted and shared.
Oh, thanks. That's really great. And I know that we've actually tried to, we're trying to come up with ways that we can help lots and lots and lots of people fight back. Because right now there's very few owners, really, relatively speaking, that are fighting. Most of them are just rolling over. They're getting jerked around, trying to do a loan mod. The bank, denies it, and then they lose the house. Or they go to court and the judge rules against them. And it's been a real challenge, and it's a highly technical area when we were talking about these kinds of fake paperwork, and they're going into the courts and lying, or they're having 16 different signatures of Linda Green. How can that help the people? And so Jim's been an integral part in helping us do that. Now, so you're going to be able to share with us more about those actions and activities next week? Maybe get on the show next week?
Absolutely. If you want to just give me a call and we can go through a quick, what you'd like to cover, and let me prepare it. I'll send you the slides or a PowerPoint so you can move along. I don't know if you share screen on live stream, but I'll help you get all that set up.
That'd be perfect. And I wouldn't dream of telling you what we need. I want you to tell us what we need to hear. That would be fabulous.
No, as far as just some direction on, because
okay.
Yes, I can put together that. And do call me on your bandwidth and all that. I've got some diagnostic tools and things that can help us keep your stream alive. It's not, I don't think, directly your issue, but we can do some quick testing and get your stream more stable too.
Well, thank you. That's fabulous. I appreciate it, because right now, of course, I'm tech support. I'm the person that, producer. I'm the host. I'm dreaming up these solutions, trying to push people to help us get moved ahead. So I really appreciate that. Thanks so much, Jim.
We're here for you. Also, count me in on some type of support to get these mailings out. We have researchers here in the office that are also behind you. So reach out to me anytime.
Oh my goodness. That's you touched my heart, because I just have such a concern. I didn't even have time today to read a couple of the letters that I get. I get these letters now every day, and they're heartbreak. The people have lost their lives, their homes, their families, their children, they're divorced, they've lost all their money. It's just a heartbreak, and that's one thing that keeps me pushing.
I hear and see so much. I mean, we meet face to face with our clients, and our intake process is far before any contact with the pretender lenders.
Yes.
And I see it. I'm not even going to depress everyone today, but I've seen grown men cry. I've seen grown men, sneak in the restroom and come back with red eyes.
Oh, absolutely.
And what I try to do, I have a minor in psychology, which God love that. I didn't think I'd ever use it, but I get them over their embarrassment, their fear,
yes.
They're ashamed. I let them know this is all psychological warfare from the banks, and it's amazing. It takes 6 months to a year, but you turn these people into fighters, and when they learn what's going on, now they get pissed. So with that said, everyone, have a great weekend. CJ, thank you so much for including me in your group, and we are here for anything we can do for you. Just give us a call.
Thank you. Power to the people.
Amen.
Thanks so much. We'll see you all next week. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.